Welcome into Vandy on SI. I'm Joey Dwyer here with Graham Bacco. For the first time of the year at Memorial Gymnasium, Vanderbilt wins 2 scrimmages against Virginia, a team I think will be an NCAA tournament team by the end of the year. Obviously some flaws. Vanderbilt chucked it out of bounds a few times, fouled a 3-point shooter, and did some things that I think I wish it had back. But overall, I think a good showing. Duke Miles really the MVP of the day, 20 points. Wreaked havoc, had all types of energy. Really a stellar performance from him. Tyler Harris had his moments as well, 19 points. Tyler Tanner broke out in his own way. Those are the 3 stars of the day. Quiet from Frankie Collins, Mike James, and Jalen Washington in a lot of ways. But, Graham, they're not going to need everybody every night. They certainly had enough to do it tonight, and I think it tells you some good things about what they have.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned Duke Miles, I think. And he was also one of the last ones. I think he might have been the last one in the transfer class to commit. And yet here he is, first exhibition game of the preseason, and he's wreaking havoc, like you mentioned. He's making his impact on this team, and you could see that. Look, he's going to deliver. He's going to come up in big moments, I would assume, throughout the season. He's going to be a very important player, whether he's a bona fide starter, whether he's, whatever his role is. You're going to see him a lot, and you're going to see him in big moments and probably have the ball in his hands in crucial times. And he showed that tonight with his performance. And I thought also defensively as well. He was wreaking havoc defensively, whether it's getting steals, cutting into the passing lanes, some rebounds as well. Like, Miles was the star of the night for me, and you also mentioned Tanner. You also mentioned Tyler Harris. Like, again, those were the 3 stars. But I think, first of all, you can't overreact. Like Mark Byington said in the postgame, tonight they didn't win a championship, and tonight they found out they're not the worst, right? So you can't overreact about anything in a good way or a bad way. But overall, there were certainly positive signs.
Yeah, I think it's just good to see basketball back on this floor. Mark Byington and Ryan Odom never went into this game thinking, we got to win, we got to do all these things. Didn't quite play walk-ons, but toyed with a bunch of lineups. Mark Byington said he likes the one with Tyler Tanner at the 1, Harris at the 2, Okereke at the 3, McLaughlin at the 4, Jalen Washington at the 5. I think, again, probably emblematic in that lineup is the improvement in size that this program has undergone. That's been a big deal for it, and I think something that Mark Byington has really emphasized. Over the offseason, you kind of saw it come to fruition tonight for the first time. It didn't look like Virginia was really overmatched in it. It has some good bigs. Weren't too much for Vanderbilt, though. A good night in that way, where Vanderbilt really looked like an SEC team. It had multiple good ball handlers. It had the big guys who I think really made an impact on the game. And even if they didn't make a huge impact statistically, I thought just the size was a big deal in itself. You're seeing Vanderbilt maybe start to find a little bit more of a consistent recipe here relative to what they had last year. Yeah,
and I think the length is a very important point. And even Ryan Odom, Virginia head coach, even talked about it in postgame where he's like, the length of this Vanderbilt team is really good. And we saw it again with the lineups that you just listed. And also Duke Miles. He even said postgame, this is one of the biggest reasons why I came here to Vanderbilt is because this team has the length and it challenges me to become a better player through that. So I think, that is certainly a good positive sign that we're probably going to see throughout the season, coming up soon, is the length that and the versatility that this team presents and could challenge teams within the SEC. And I think that's, when you think of the teams in this conference, you think of how Florida's had these bigs, you think of how Alabama's had these bigs in the past. If you're able to compete with those sorts of teams, you need to have length. And Vanderbilt showed, hey, again, not to overreact or anything, but hey, they do have a positive sign in terms of length.
Yeah, they don't have Florida's front court of Alex Condon, Ruben Chinyelu, and Tommy Haw, but also it's more comparable to the teams in the league relative to what they've had in the past. I think that's a takeaway tonight. Graham won't go too much longer, but I just think you're starting to see more of the blueprint here relative to what they had last year. And I thought they hit the offensive glass more today. I thought they shot more threes. Maybe played a little too fast, out of control at times. I think they probably want to slow down a little bit.
But with those kinds of things, it's it's exhibition. You kind of expect sloppiness. You expect those mistakes to happen, and it's it's good to happen in a game like this where it's not counting towards your record or your resume or what have you. So these are the times to make mistakes and correct them.
Yeah, for sure. But I just look at it and I say, I just think they're better. Mike James didn't have a great night. He's a guy who could be one of their best guys if it all goes right for him. Frankie Collins on a minutes restriction. Thought they still played pretty well or pretty comparable with the Virginia team that, again, we think could be in the NCAA tournament by year's end. A good team that Ryan Odom has assembled pretty quickly. But I want to talk about Duke Miles. I think I knew that Duke Miles was a good player.
Yeah.
You kind of heard the buzz that he was going to have more of a high point role than what he had at Oklahoma next to Jeremiah Fears. Now, Graham, I think you're really starting to see that. I mean, that's practical. Like, he's going to be one of the guys on this team. I don't know that he's guaranteed to start, but
I'd agree.
He's going to be a real factor in a lot of ways. One of the leaders, one of the energy guys, and if he can score it like he did tonight, man, he's in for a great year.
Yeah, certainly. And I think you mentioned Jeremiah Fears and playing with him at Oklahoma. I think that's sort of, hindered, his role or his capabilities and his abilities and his skills that he can bring to the table. And I think coming now to Vanderbilt, where, you don't have like a bona fide lottery pick that everyone's so focused on and trying to guard and make plays around and scheme around. Now you're at a Vanderbilt team where, hey, like you got a few different playmakers that can attack you and can hit you from different directions. So it sort of seems like a better fit, in my opinion, for Duke Miles in this type of system. And it seemed like he agreed as well. And Duke Miles, like you said, he's going to be a bona fide star. And I do think this guy is going to be one of the leading scorers and one of the more tenacious and energetic guys on this team. And again, defensively, I do agree, or in terms of the points, if he can do that, plus what he sort of put on the floor defensively tonight with the steals and closing up passing lanes and those sorts of things, he could end up being one of, if not the best player on this roster if he's able to put that up, those sorts of efforts up consistently. But again, not to overreact, but he played well.
Yeah, I think that's one of the bigger stories of the night, and maybe his stock is a little bit higher than even it was coming into the night. Same with Tyler Tanner.
Yeah.
Mark Byington mentioned he'd been a little timid in the past, where he's kind of trying to find his place, not step on A.J. Hoggard or Grant Huffman's toes. Tonight, Tyler Tanner was in control of the game. He put it on the floor a few times, got to the basket, it bookended the first half with a pull-up jumper, and then at the end of the half, really made a nice play around the rim as well. So Tyler Tanner, I think, another step forward candidate tonight. But, man, Graham, I think they're better in a lot of ways, and we're going to see kind of how it amounts. But if this was the sloppy version of this team, it's a pretty good team, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it wasn't even all that sloppy. I mean,
they didn't turn it over a whole lot, which was
exactly
a big deal.
Like for those of you at home that don't know, they didn't. We had to keep our own stats, which was very interesting.
High school-esque.
Exactly. Yeah, it was very interesting, very fun, but makes you appreciate the stat broadcast. That's for sure. But look, it didn't feel like they even turned it over that much from what we gathered. And again, if this is a sloppy type of version that Mark Byington sort of, I guess, alluded to, then I think that's a good sign, and that's sort of a good omen going forward. Because if it's only up from here, then hey, I think you're looking pretty good.
Sure, Graham. I don't have a whole lot more. I think we'll talk more. Go to UAB next week.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt's got a game there. We'll see kind of how that plays. But I think a successful night all in all for Vanderbilt. The final score didn't matter all that much, but I'm certainly thinking that Vanderbilt was happy to win it. A good night, though. I think you see a lot from Duke Miles, a lot from Tyler Tanner, a lot from Tyler Harris. That encourages you down the stretch here. Harris took some bad ones. I thought was assertive, though. Everything that I had kind of heard needed to happen for this team, it feels like it might be happening a little bit. So we'll keep you posted going to UAB next week. I'll be there. And, man, we've got a lot of coverage this weekend. I'm taking a night off tomorrow. But Graham will be back at it with Dylan at baseball. We're going to post some highlights on YouTube here, a lot on the site in the coming hours. So tune in to Vandy on SI on YouTube, go on the site. We'll have you covered with everything you need from this game. I'm Joey Dwyer. He's Graham Baca. We'll talk to you later. Peace.